Hello, everyone. Peter Obi calls for mass voters registration. According to parallel facts here, it said every registered voter represents hope for leadership driven by competence, character, and compassion. Peter Obi calls for mass voter registration. Peter Obi, the former Anambra State governor and 2027 presidential candidate of the Nigeria Democratic Congress (NDC), has urged eligible Nigerians to participate in the ongoing voter registration exercise, saying every registered voter represents hope for leadership driven by competence, character, compassion, and commitment to the common good. So this at this time in our country where we are, let me just say this very, very explicitly. At this stage in our country, every hand is needed on deck. We need everybody participating in the electoral process. Get your PVC. Talk to people who don't have their PVC to get to their PVC. Explain to them what governance is. Unfortunately for us, a lot of people do not understand relationship between governance and their lives. When people cannot get job, they would rather blame their village people, principalities and powers, their enemies, stepmother, uncles in the village, enemies, what have you. They will blame everybody, but they will not blame government that is actually the problem. Because when the economy is contracting, more jobs are not being created. In fact, more jobs are being lost. So definitely it becomes harder for people to get, jobs. So your lack of job, your unemployment is not because somebody has tied down your destiny. It is because the government has failed. And who are the people in charge of government? They are the people that are elected during election through politics to get in there. And if you don't get your PVC, then you are not in a position to be able to determine the people who are coming in. And if you don't vote for the right people that will care about you, that will fight for you, that will stand for you, that have empathy, character, capacity, compassion, patriotism, then you continue to have a problem, and then you continue to have bad leadership going there. Obi made the appeal after visiting an independent National Electoral Commission INEC voter registration center at Loyola College, Ibadan, Oyo State, shortly after attending the 88th birthday celebration of His Grace Archbishop Alaba Job. He said he and Professor Pat Utomi stopped at the registration center to appreciate those who had already registered and encourage eligible Nigerians who had yet to register to do so before the exercise closes. According to Obi, voter registration is the first step towards building the new Nigeria that citizens desire and should be embraced by every single Nigerian. He urged prospective voters to remain committed to the democratic processes, stressing that active participation in elections is essential to achieving meaningful national development. Obi maintained that every registered voter represents hope for a nation where leadership is driven by competence, character, compassion, and commitment to the common good. The former governor has consistently encouraged Nigerians, particularly young people, to obtain their permanent voters card and participate actively in elections as a way of shaping the country's future. His latest appeal comes to us as the Independent National Electoral Commission continues voter registration ahead of preparations for the 2027 general election. So that's it there. And I see a lot of people also who have been asking, especially Nigerians in diaspora, have been asking, how do you get, to register? I think the first step will be to go on the INEC website and do your registration. But then the capturing has to be done in Nigeria. You also then have to come down to Nigeria to do it. There is something called Operation Dan, which is Operation Deliver a New Nigeria. What we are trying to do with Operation Dan is that let everybody, please, at this moment, bring in 20 people. Look for 20 people that you can get. You don't even need to leave your house for you to be able to get 20 people. Go through your phones. When we talk about going out to go and mobilize people, look for people, or sort of do a quick of campaign. We always think about, going out on the streets. I just realized even on our phones, right? We have people in there. You can do campaigns on your phone. You can send in messages. You can ask. You can call people. You can talk to people. Get your 20. Let's start from that 20. Look, all hands must be on deck. We have just 6 months to the 2027 election. Can we put everything we can into this one? Do the work. There's a saying that do what you have to do today so that you can do what you want to do tomorrow. If we have good governance in Nigeria, we can do a whole lot. Let Abia State be incentive for us. Let Abia State be reason why we say, a lot of difference can be made in 3 years. In 3 years, we've seen how our country have been destroyed. In 3 years, our country can also be built up. See Abia State. If Abia State did not get that election right, and there wasn't that woman that stood and ensured that the right thing was done, do you think they'll be getting the good governance that they are getting today? If it's the usual people that come and make excuses and tell you all manner of things will not work, this will not do this, do you think they'll be having the good governance that they have today? They won't. But see the transformation that has come just because they were able to get it right with leadership. The same way also in terms of as we go into 2027, be it at the presidential level, at the gubernatorial level, senatorial level, House of Rep level, the state houses of assembly level, is the same thing. If we put in all we can right now, we then will be able to enjoy and see good governance beyond what our expectation. It doesn't mean that we're not going to hold the person accountable. It doesn't mean that we're not going to stand on and continue to make demands on the people. Absolutely, we will do that. In the meantime, you can also go, if you want to create a platform, you can. If you don't, maybe you're saying, okay, how do I begin to talk to these people? Go to Operation Dan. You understand? www.operationdann.com. You go in there, you register, you set up like your own account, your own profile, and in there you will see you bring in your 20. After bringing your first 20, you can unlock if you want to progress to bringing in your 50, your 100. For those who are able to work, part of the things that we are doing, we are also trying to match people who can go out and look for people who can mobilize to people who can mobilize, people who have resources to people who don't have the resources to mobilize, for them to go out there and mobilize. We want to also be able to ensure that people know each other even before election. You have a polling unit, you'll be going to vote every day, but you don't come together to say, how do we secure this polling unit? How do we make sure everything works very well? How do we even do this campaign in this polling unit? How do we go on to meet people in their different houses, street by street, door by door? Because the 2027 election is going to be won by us doing door to door, meeting people one on one, street by street, estate by estate, not just leaving it at rallies and market visitations only, meeting people where you are, knowing where their polling units are, getting people to familiarize themselves before that day and know how we're going to stay, because we're going to stay as family within those periods that we're going to be voting. We're going to stay on as family, and we need to get these things all done. So go in there to Operation. I will put the link in the description. I'll put it also on my profile. I think I need to quickly go do that, so that you can just click on it. I'll also write it on the body of the on the video. But that one, you then have to type it and everything. Please, let's all put all hands on deck. We need to deliver a new Nigeria. We cannot do it by making excuses. We cannot do it by just staying by the side. We cannot do it just by being on board. That we all have to focus and say, hey, this is something that we all need to do. Thank you so much for watching.